Alright, what's going on guys, Luca here with another PvP build for the Necrom chapter on my Magicka Templar this time. Oh boy, Templar got a huge buff in this patch. First one is probably the strongest one with Solar Barrage. Solar Barrage provides now a unique buff called Sunsphere. Let me show you fast. Here we go. Sunsphere increases your class abilities by 5% for 22 seconds. 5% on everything. On Portal, on Punching Sweeps, Radiant Oppression, Ultimate, etc. That's huge. Second change is about our resistance and recovery buff, Channeled Focus. It heats now even if you're out of the rune for 2.5% of your max health. And if you're standing in the rune, this value gets increased by 200%. Another big change is Power of the Light and Purifying Light. You need 60% less time to get the final value of this ability. This thing hits like a truck now, sometimes even 10k plus on a target. They also changed Toppling Charge. Let me show really fast, which I don't use in this case. Toppling Charge now provides major protection for 4 seconds after using this ability. Pretty cool. But I'm using Javelin this time, which is unblockable, way more effective as done, even if you lose off balance for the blue CP exploiter. Let's take a look on the sets, this time with something different. Pariah for a ton of resistance, needed for one react situations. I'm not sure what they did to Templar. On paper, only buffs, but it seems like more squishy than usual. Not sure why, maybe I also just shit on this class, but I play Templar on every patch so far, and I feel really squishy at the moment. That's why I'm using Pariah. For over 12k more resistance, insane. On top I'm even Vamp stage 3 for the Undeath passive, which gives us another damage mitigation with this passive here. Up to 30% damage reduction. Really nice. Combined with something else, instead of burning Spell Weave and Deadly Strikes, I'm using Scathing Mage. When you deal direct damage, you have a 20% chance to increase your weapon spell damage by over 500 for 5 seconds. This counts for Punching Sweeps. So as soon as we activate Punching Sweeps, which hits 3 times in less than 1 second, Scathing Mage is basically always up. Combined with the Veteran Ice stuff on the back bar for extra dot pressure, Death Dealer's Feet, what else is Mythic, and 1 Magma Incarnate is filler for the extra Magicka and Stam region. Armor types, 3 heavy, keep in mind Pariah is a heavy armor set. Scathing Mage light armor, so 3 light armor pieces with 1 magma in medium. Traits for Impen, 2 well fitted and 1 sturdy. Full infused on the jewelry with 1 weapon spell damage, 1 Magicka recovery, 1 prismatic region glyph. Definitely needed this Vamp stage 3. Our skills cost a ton of resource. And then on the front bar 2 maces, none sharp. Poison and flame damage enchant, backed by nice stuff. Veteran in defending, alternative powered would work too in this case, with the escapist poisons. Quick look on the skills. Like I said before, I'm using Javelin instead of Toppling Charge. The reason is simple, Javelin is unblockable and deals even a ton of damage, because it ignores the resistance of your opponents. Problem about Toppling Charge, yes, it sets the enemy off balance, but you can easily block it. Good players, they just mini block it and then your CC is kinda rip. So for this build, Javelin with an 8 meter knockback. Power of the Light for minor breach instead of Purifying Light. I don't have Pierce armor, instead I'm using ESO with the Veteran stuff. Spammer, Punching Sweeps, what else? Radiant Oppression, the Jesus Beam is Execute. Solar Barrage, mainly for the 5% extra damage, but also deals quite a bit AoE damage. Crash and Sweep instead of Draugrkin, with Sunsphere as unique buff. Crash and Sweeps hits also like a truck, 5% more damage. Backed by ESO for major breach and to proc the Veteran stuff. Top even burning, chilled and a concussion status effect. Race against time is snare removal. Honor that as burst heal, channeled focus, resistance buff, a ton of Magicka recovery and a hot. Still extended ritual as purge and healing. And then Remembrance as defensive ultimate. Better choice would be Temporal Guard for mana protection and as oh shit button. I often enough just die, even in Remembrance, if I have like 10 targets on me. As Raise not the best choice in this case. Better would be Breton, High Elf or even Dunmer. Mundus Diatro for the extra Magicka region. Clock Procedures Fillet for more Mag region. We don't need Osuria's buff food, we only have Portal as stamina ability. Vamp stage 3, 30 points in health and 34 in Magicka. I'm at around 31k HP. Without Death Dealer's Feet, with feet 30 stacks, I'm at around 33k HP. Potions, as you could see, I don't have access to major sorcery and prophecy. I don't have bar space for Karma Hunter or Degeneration. That's why I need to use the spare power potions, but it's not a big deal, sustain is fine. Even if you are low on Stam regen, we only have Power of the Light as stamina ability. If I'm really super under pressure, I'm still using the twice the potions though. CPs, Mastered Arms and Rawful Strikes instead of Biting Aura. Biting Aura would only empower some abilities, but Rawful Strikes every ability. Then, like I said, we don't have toppling charge, so Exploiter is kinda nonsense in this build. That's why I'm using Dual Speed Buff for even more tankiness, and Ironclad for even more damage mitigation. Still feel kinda squishy, not gonna lie. Something is weird on Templar. Should be way better than last patch, but just feel kinda squishy. Maybe the opponents got just better, who knows. Red CP, Sustained by Suffering, Pain's Refuge, Celebrity and Slippery, same as usual. Combination, start to pre-buff yourself with Solar Barrage, Race Against Time, Edisas, Power of the Light, Puncture Sweeps twice, Crash and Sweep, into Javelin, into Jesus Beam. By the way, make sure to be in range of the Vertationized stuff. It has a 50 meters range. Make sure to stay in this range when you use Elemental Susceptibility, otherwise it will not proc. That's it with another PvP build. Thanks for watching, have a nice day and I'll see you hopefully in the next one. Peace.